Good morning and a warm welcome to those who are viewing the segment of Behind the Courts today. I'd like to take a quick moment to introduce myself and my co-hosts and give a brief explanation into what we do and why we're here today. My name is Gretel and with me is Naomi. We will later be joined by Lauren and Ruby. We are social workers from the Youth Education Program in Brisbane and are here today to equip you with an educational resource about the judicial system, including information about the Children's Court and its processes, role of the Children's Court, and we will also provide you with a number of relevant referrals for young people who are in these types of situations. The aim of this segment is to educate you and give you a better understanding into these matters before you have to experience it for yourselves. I will now pass you over to Naomi, who is going to discuss the role of the Children's Court and explain why you might appear in court. Thank you, Gretel.
Today we're speaking to you about the Children's Court, and in particular the Brisbane Children's Court of Australia. The Children's Court is a court in Australia which deals with all criminal offences committed by children under the age of 17, unless the court feels it's necessary for the matter to be dealt with in an adult court. Children's Court stands to protect the rights of children in child safety matters, and also charge criminal offenders. The court is set up to support young people and make them feel comfortable, while still addressing the seriousness of the situation. Also, due to confidentiality reasons and the privacy of the young person's identity, the Children's Court is a closed court. This means only those directly involved in the case may be present, and no one is permitted to publish any information which can be used to identify the offender. You may appear in court for a number of reasons. Most commonly, the reasons to appear in court are offences such as public nuisance, underage drinking, evade fare, breaking and entering, and violence. Even though this court deals with children, these offences are still treated seriously, and all cases are punishable and not taken lightly. Some of the punishments that you may be given are as follows. A reprimand, which is a form of reproof given by the court to a juvenile offender after being found guilty. You may also be subject to a good behaviour order. This means that the young person is ordered to be on good behaviour for a specific time period. However, if this is breached by the young person and they commit another offence, more punishments may be given. It is therefore very important to stick to your instructions specified by the magistrate, so no further punishments are given to you. Probation is quite common where freedom is granted to the child under supervision for a specific time period. However, you must obey the conditions of the court. Community service can also be granted to you, meaning that you must perform a specified number of hours of unpaid community work under supervision. And finally, the harshest punishment is getting sent to detention. Detention is a custodial order placing a juvenile in a youth detention centre. When attending court, you don't have to worry about being by yourself. The court allows a parent, guardian, or witness to provide emotional support for you as the child offender. But it is important to know that there might be other people engaged in study or research from a university. There will always be someone there to talk to you and talk you through the whole procedure, so don't feel alone. Remember, the court is there to protect your rights and uphold the rules and laws of society, so you can feel more at ease knowing that you are receiving a fair go.
Thank you, Naomi. We are now joined by Ruby, who is going to discuss the structure of the court and the power dynamics involved.
Thank you, Gretel. The main children's courts are located in the capital cities of each Australian state, and most of the cases that arise in the inner suburbs are held there. There are also children's courts that sit at the major suburban courthouses and county courthouses on a regular basis. There are also Koori and Nunga courts, which hear Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children's cases. When you arrive at court, you give your name to the desk as you walk in. You will then be told which courtroom you will be appearing in, or you might be told to see a duty lawyer or an Aboriginal legal service lawyer. The defendant or young person is the person who has been charged with the offence. The defendant may also be called the accused. The defence lawyer's job, or solicitor, is to help the defendant, the accused, tell their side of the story. Parents or your support persons will sit behind you. When appearing in court, wait for your name to be called before going into court. It is sometimes difficult to know how long you're going to have to wait. You'll be shown where to go and where to stand as your case comes up. It is tradition as you enter the courtroom, you bow your head to the magistrate, then you walk to your lawyer. You should also bow your head to the magistrate when you leave the court. You will stand next to your lawyer at a long bench, and in front of a bench there will be another table where the judicial support officer or court clerk sits, and the magistrate is seated at the head of the room. Your parent or responsible adult will sit at the back of the courtroom. The charge is what the police say you did. The magistrate will read the charge to you, and you will be asked if you understand the charge. The magistrate will ask whether you are guilty or not. Appearing in court, wait for your name to be called before going into court. It is sometimes difficult to know how long you're going to have to wait. You'll be shown where to go and where to stand when your case comes up. It is tradition that as you enter the courtroom, you bow your head to the magistrate. Then you walk to your lawyer. You should also bow your head to the magistrate when you leave the court. You'll stand next to your defence lawyer at a long bench, and in front of the bench there will be another table where the court clerk or judicial support officer sits. The magistrate sits at the front of the room. Your parent or responsible adult will be sitting at the back of the courtroom behind you. The charge is what the police say you did. The magistrate will read the charge to you, and you will be asked if you understand the charge. The magistrate will ask whether you are guilty or not guilty to that charge. If you say guilty, it means yes, I did do it. If you say not guilty, it means no, I didn't do it. Appearing in court is a serious matter, and if you don't understand the charge or any other aspect of what is happening to this point, it is important for you to say so. If you are appearing in court, you should be punctual. The court has a very busy schedule, so you must be on time for your case. Dressing appropriately is important. Try to wear clean, smart clothing or wear your school uniform. Talking, smoking, eating and chewing gum are not permitted in court, and remember to turn off your mobile phone. It is considered respectful to stand when a judge or magistrate enters or leaves the room, and also when the magistrate speaks to you and when you speak to them. As you enter or leave a courtroom, you should be quiet so you do not disrupt the proceedings. It is important to remember that the magistrate cannot speak to you about your case except when your case is being heard and when the other party is present. When you address the magistrate, refer to them as Your Honour, Her Honour, or Sir or Madam. Address others by their titles and surnames, including lawyers, witnesses and court staff. The court staff will try to help you in any way they can, but staff cannot give legal advice. There are power dynamics in place within the court system that are there for a reason. It is natural for you to find these power dynamics very intimidating, but it is important to remember that they are not there to make you feel uncomfortable or scared, but rather to ensure the responsibility and duty of the law. To be present in court is a very important and serious event, and the power dynamics at work there are to highlight and instill in you the respect that the judicial system is worthy of. Some examples of these, which are also there for security reasons, is the guard you will see at the door, the cells located under the courtroom, and the security cameras facing and recording the courtroom. Other examples that you will find in the courtroom setting are having to bow to the magistrate, who will be sitting up higher than the rest of the court, and to call them Your Honour. It is fine to feel nervous when attending the court due to these power dynamics, but if you relax while still taking in the serious nature of the situation, you'll find the process a lot more comfortable.
Thank you, Ruby. We are now joined by Lauren, who is going to inform you on organisations and the role they can play and how they can help you through the court process.
While court is a serious and daunting process, it is important for you to know that there are both people and organisations put into place to help and support you through this. There are many different organisations and people within these organisations that are willing to advocate for you. Organisations such as the Nunda Community Centre, Queensland Advocacy, Youth Advocacy and Aid Queensland are just a few of the organisations that can help you with your legal matters. These organisations and organisations like these will act on behalf of you. It is important to remember that they are advocating for you, not your parents or anyone else. There are Koori, Murray and Nunga courts which hear Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children's cases. Like these courts, there are also organisations which provide legal aid and advocacy to these Indigenous groups. These groups include the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Legal Service. These groups provide legal aid and advocate for your needs. They also offer support groups, education seminars, and individual and family counselling sessions. While these services are specific to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander community, it is important to note that the services previously mentioned are not bound by ethnicity. In the pamphlet provided, there are contact details for the above-mentioned organisations and many other like them around the Brisbane area.
So it's time for us to finish up now. I'd like to say a quick thank you to Naomi, Ruby and Lauren for joining us. We hope that this segment has provided you with an insight of what the Children's Court and its processes are all about, from the physical structure of the court, to the reasons of why you may appear in court, to the power dynamics involved, and lastly, a list of other organisations that may be of help to you. With the knowledge from this segment, you should be able to attend court responsibly and comfortably, and therefore, hopefully leave with a good outcome. Don't forget to have a look at our brochure that includes all of the information spoken about today. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.